Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. I hope you will. I'm using the Night Sun Tarot for you today, which is intriguing in and of itself. So let's give these a little shuffle. There will be an extended at the end of this, so if what comes out in the reading resonates with you and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can just click on the link in the description box and go check that out over on Vimeo. And I've also done a 6-month overview for each of the signs for 2021, so runs from January to June, obviously, but it's still there if you want it, and I think it's still very reasonably priced actually, so that's the hard sell done. Let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Aquarius. 3 cards for Aquarius. There's the first one, and it is the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Got loads of cards falling out to the right here, but none coming out jumping to the left, which is what I like. Current energy for Aquarius, please. We have 2. We do. Oh, I beg your pardon. We have 3. We have the Moon. We have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the Fool in reverse. Okay. There. That's an interesting set of cards for your current energy. And what's coming towards Aquarius, please? We have the Queen of Cups. I should point out that the 4 of Wands fell to the side here, and I feel like that's important because I feel like there's some preparatory work going on at the moment. We've got the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is your ace. It talks about, followed by the Ace of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles and the Hanged Man and the Hermit. What have you got going on with you, Aquarius? Very interesting indeed. Let's get some clarifiers, and we'll see what this is all about. Preparatory work is how it feels to me. We've got how's the best way to phrase what it is that I feel? Somewhat of an adjustment. Preparing for something, and it is definitely something new. We've got the Ace of Swords and we've got the Ace of Wands there together, which talks about new starts for sure. But that 4 of Wands just falling out to the side there, it's the beginning to build something, because that's the creation of a new foundation. You know, it is home, it is joy, it is celebration. There's just a bit of preparatory work to do first. There you are at the bottom of the deck. Tell me about the 4 of Pentacles, please. We have the 5 of Wands and we have the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, that makes sense. Tell me about the Moon, 5 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands. We have the 4 of Pentacles again. We have the Empress and we have the 5 of Pentacles in the upright this time. That's interesting. And then how about this Queen of Cups? 5 of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. There's quite a lot of 5 energy around you at the moment. And that's what I feel like you're trying to sort of shuffle around at the moment. We've got the Hangman at the bottom of this deck as well. Followed by the Hermit. Exactly as it was in the Night Sun Tarot. Gosh, I've just got goosebumps all over. This is looking at a situation from a different perspective. And it feels like you are mentally engaged with this at the moment. You haven't quite got the answers yet, but the cogs are turning. You know, like I said, preparatory work. The something being processed here. That's cool and exciting. So the 4 of Pentacles. It often talks about holding on to things too tight. And, you know, we should point out already that we've got it twice on the table. But it doesn't feel to me like you are holding on to this too tight, if that makes sense. It's more a case of what is at the moment. And we've got this figure here kind of sat I'm staring off into the middle distance, but all of these pentacles are kind of anchored where they are. Now, like fours, foundational energy, it is what is. It is what has been and what remains at this point. But we're still very much in the what is stage here, because we've got that Seven of Pentacles. There's a contemplation of what is. And some of it might be quite foundational for you, in so much as it is things that have always been. But I wonder how much of it you're hanging on to. And in contemplation of letting it go. You know? Because to start letting go of these Four Pentacles is necessarily to start deconstructing a foundation that you've made for yourself. Now, we've got the Five of Wands directly underneath that. That's a card that talks about conflict, and I feel like this is a conflicted energy that you have. Shut off the fucking window, right? About this. It kind of feels like it's quite a big move that you're planning to make here. And it doesn't necessarily need to be something in the physical. It feels like it could be preparatory groundwork for doing something in the physical. But there's also an indication that there's a bit of groundwork that needs to be done in the mind first before you start to bring this in, right? So we've got this Five of Wands here. We've got this kind of like energy about this. But it's not snarling you up. It's not something that you're unhappy about. It feels more intellectual than that. You know, an intellectual appreciation of what the circumstances are, and maybe it needs to start being different. Because you're not comfortable with it, or you haven't been comfortable with it. That's what the Seven of Pentacles says to me. It's always about, you know, looking at what is. And in that what is frame of mind, assessing whether it is the right thing for you now. Right? Maybe it might have been in the past, but is it really now? I suspect not. And I think actually what we've got going on here is an assessment of which one of these pentacles needs to be gone. The thing is, when you take one of the pentacles away, you change the dynamic of everything anyway. And so it might actually lead to more pentacles needing to be let go, released in some sort of way. You know, there's a cascading effect that is possible from what it is that you've been thinking about here, from what it is that you're looking to effect, right? So then we move to your current energy. We have the Moon, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and we also have the Fool in reverse. Now, the Moon is the card of Cancer, and the Fool is the card of Aries. And I don't really think that they're particularly important at the moment. When we're looking at the Moon is talking about the things that are hidden. Now, I don't think that anything is particularly hidden from you at this point, but I do see a lot of self-analysis going on, particularly with regard to how well you are meeting your own basic needs. Now, because we're going from the 4 to the 5 here, and actually the 5 appears twice, just as the 4 appears twice, which is why I don't feel like you're actually ready to start moving anything yet, right? It's kind of circular. Sitting with it, maybe this thing, that's possible, but then, you know, we'll come back to something else, and maybe that's possible too. There's quite a lot going on intellectually, even if there's no indication of it outside to other people, right? Well, you're a very private sign anyway. It's not really much of a surprise. But there is a knowledge that you can't go any further until you address this. Like, this feels like a blockage of sorts. This Moon card's really interesting because it's a reflected image. But we've got these two women depicted on here, and they're both pregnant. Right. There's a gestating going on here, right? There are moves that you're wanting to make. There are changes that you're wishing to institute, and I think that they might be actually quite large. But you're being quite logical about the way that you approach this. The interesting thing is that that logic is being applied to your internal space. Yeah, and it's almost like you've managed to achieve a level of detachment from your own internal space enough that you can observe it. Now, like when we get, get into a meditative a meditative state, that's actually what we're looking to do. We're looking to get to the point where we can observe our thoughts, recognize that we are separate from our thoughts, and just see where they're going. It's quite difficult to work out. It's like standing in the middle of a motorway and there's just cars zipping past you really, really fast, And it's difficult to tell what's going on when it's just whoop, 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 whoop. If you can pull back and go and sit on a hill, right, you can start seeing whether there are lots of large cars, lots of small cars, whether there are lorries there. Some of them are kind of pootling along at a slower pace, and some are going a little bit too fast. There's that detachment there, and it does feel to me like you're in that state now. You're kind of looking at it. It's very self-aware, but Aquarius as a sign tends to be anyway. But there's something going on here that isn't to your liking. It's not perhaps working out the way that you planned, or maybe it worked exactly as it was supposed to for a while, but now it isn't doing that, and so it's time for an adjustment. Right? And this feels like a preparation for adjustment, but addressing what's going on in here first. This Fool in reverse, there is no movement. There is no moving forwards until this bit is done, right? It's quite a logical progression that you're taking to it. The interesting thing is, when we look at the clarifiers, we've got the Four of Pentacles, we've got the Empress, and then we've got the Five of Pentacles again, right? Both of those cards have shown up twice, and that's why it feels kind of circular. We go from the Four to the Five, back to the Four, back to the Five again. This time, however, the Five of Pentacles is the right way up, and that's quite interesting. The only thing that's separating the Four and the Five down here in the clarifiers is this Empress energy. Now, this is the card of Taurus. It can be seen as the card of Libra, depending on what particular frame of reference you use for it. It's always Taurus for me. I can't see it as a Libra card. And that's to do with fertility, it's to do with abundance, it's to do with creativity, it's about birthing new things into the world. And how interesting that we should have had almost a double message here from these two cards, what with these two figures in here being pregnant and then having the Empress. The funny thing is, I'm not sure that you're thinking solely about this at the moment. It's got a feeling of something that is percolating, and maybe it started as just a funny little niggle in your head somewhere, or some sort of feeling in your stomach. It was kind of like your body's alerted you to this before your mind got there, and now your mind's there, and it's starting to just kind of like, oh, okay, oh, I see what's going on here, right? This is interesting. Let's see. I pull one more card for this here. This Five of Pentacles. Where's this Five of Pentacles, please? It's the Empress. Really, the number of repeating cards here is really quite interesting. With the Fool, and we've got the Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Now, it seems to me like you're trying to clarify how you feel about something. Or maybe you know how you feel about something. What it is the practicalities of the matter at this point, with it being the Pentacles being so present and so heavy. Yeah, it's practicalities that you're dealing with at the moment. And then we've got more fucking pregnancy here with that Empress. She is literally pregnant. And we've got the Fool. It feels like you're getting ready to bring in quite a new, quite a big change. Whatever it is that is new. Will be quite a significant departure from where you are right now. And it feels like there may be some risk associated with it, possibly. We've got this Five of Pentacles going from the, from the reverse to the upright, and that talks about poverty and lack and things like that. But actually, it feels like there's the possibility of taking a small hit initially for a greater gain. The risk-reward balance here is tipped actually quite heavily in reward's favour. But there's something in the way that you're approaching the practicalities that need straightening out in your head. You know, Aquarius is quite determined about things, I think. So I think all fixed signs are, anyway, they're really high level determination. But it's almost like you've got a vision of where you want to go, but the practicalities of how you get there are the things that you're wrestling with at the moment. Does that make sense? Because the practicalities are the thing that's standing in the way of the Fool in the reverse and then the Fool in the upright. Perhaps you have to tie up some loose ends. Perhaps there are matters that you need to attend to, but it doesn't feel quite like that to me. It feels slightly sideways of it. So it's the way that you go about this, you know, just working out the practicalities. So what we've got coming towards you is the Queen of Cups for the month of March. Now that's Cancer energy again, which is interesting. But she's highly receptive, you know, she's water of water, so she's doubly receptive. And it feels like being able to sit back and let happen what it is that you've been trying to bring in, right? The preparatory work that you're doing at the moment, the groundwork, that sort of thing, it's making space for this Queen of Cups energy to come through. Now, it could be that you have a Cancer coming towards you who might be quite helpful in what it is that you're trying to do. I mean, we've got the Wheel of Fortune here, but it doesn't feel quite like that. It feels more of an energetic, receptive clearing of the decks having happened before now, and then just kind of being ready for what comes in to come in. Because you do have some help from the universe on the way in here. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. We do have it preceded by the Five of Wands. The Five of Swords. So I'd just like to clarify that. Queen of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Now the Queen of Swords is all about discernment to me, right? She's about sniffing out the bullshit of any kind of given situation, right? But she's also good at sniffing out the truth. And it's interesting that we had you there with that Ace of Swords initially. And then we've got this Queen of Swords wielding that, you know. So maybe this is a new idea that you have, possibly something that you've been working on. But I think it's actually insights for you. I don't feel like it's, you know, I think it's insights that lead to a change, because we've got these two aces here and we've got the Ten of Pentacles directly behind it. Now that is commitment for sure, but it is also, you know, the culmination of the pips of the Pentacles. We had so many Pentacles kind of messing around down here, but then we hang straight up to this it's because the Hanged Man's underneath it. We shoot straight up to the Ten of Pentacles. Now that's material security, yes, but it's also structure. It could well be a plan here for you. There've been a lot of aces coming out for all of the signs this month. I find it quite interesting that it's happening. But this fire and air is working really well together. I mean, those are two elements that really do complement each other. You know, you get the right amount of wind blowing on a spark and you can turn it into a wildfire, you know. There's a lot of drive and determination for what comes next. The thing is, I don't think that you actually have to do that much. Once you've cleared this blockage, whatever it is, you know, we've got this Queen of Cups, it is receptive, it's coming towards you. This Five of Swords is bothering me. The whole sword suit is about communication, it's about the intellect, it's about reason and stuff. But the Five is a shift in that energy. Now, there's been, you know, an indication that there are lots of shifts going on here, and they are being brought by you. There's no question about that. This isn't external things coming towards you. This is all very much happening on an internal plane for you. But it starts to get externalized this month. Now, honestly, the thing that's coming to me, looking at these three cards, which is the Five of Swords and the Queen of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, is actually just be very discerning about who you choose to work with this month, you know. Five of Swords. Maybe be careful who you share these ideas with, perhaps. Yeah, we've got the Two of Pentacles. And the Seven of Cups, and now we've got the Death card. And then the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck for you again. Like, the Wheel of Fortune is something coming in, and it does feel like an unexpected kind of extra energy that flies in sideways. Almost to the point where at the end of the month you see the point in dealing with the blockages that you had right at the beginning of the month, right? Out here, this Wheel of Fortune, whatever it indicates as it comes towards you, it's hitting something that's very clean because you've cleared the decks for it already, you know, and it can sit there and take root, which is, you know, what we want these aces to do. Ultimately, we want them to take root. Certainly be careful who you share information with this month. But actually, I think the broad meaning of these cards here is that be prepared to change your mind on something, actually. Because I don't think that you quite have all of the information yet. Like, you're doing the right thing with the information that you've got, but try and maintain a level of fluidity throughout March, and be prepared to change your position if necessary, because this Wheel of Fortune is here twice, right? This is energy that you don't tend to see coming. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune, even though you have brought it towards yourself. You've got the Knight of Cups there as well. It's definitely the sense of something galloping into you. And, you know, if this is a relationship, and it could well be, because now we have had the Empress twice on the table, but we also have the Knight of Cups and we have the Emperor. If you're single and you're kind of looking for someone and you're doing a bit of work on yourself now, on your internal space, and working out how you feel about relationships and people, and, you know, kind of doing your own work, then you might well have somebody kind of rushing in here and going, hello, I heard the call and now I'm here. If it isn't that, if it's something outside of romance and relationships, then you could well have a person coming in who will assist with what it is that you're trying to do. Maybe that was maybe it's somebody who's the last piece in the puzzle, helping you put together what it is that you want to do. Like, it's almost like you only just need to sit there in a state of receptivity for all of this stuff to come in for you, you know. But where there was a sense of being stuck with something, because we've got this Eight of Swords here with that Four of Pentacles, like, that's getting released over March. And we've got the Chariot. We've got an uptick in movement, an uptick in momentum and drive and determination and pursuit of your goals, whatever they may be, you know. So be prepared to work with the energy on this one, because it might move pretty quickly once we get into March, you know, fully, once this Wheel of Fortune energy starts coming in. Okay, well, that's very interesting. I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and pull this apart a little bit and see if we can get some more information about it. So if you want to join me over there, like I said, the link's in the description box. If not, that's no problem whatsoever. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.